Okay, so I think we might be in the wrong directory right now. Gonna fix that real fast. Excuse me. Okay. Oops. I've always kind of wondered at YouTube's algorithm for tags. Because I try to put as much relevant stuff in there as possible, but I wonder how much that actually helps me in terms of visibility. For a low life channel like this one is right now, probably not much. Okay. So YouTube's updated. YouTube's good to go. Let's just check Twitch real fast. Yeah, alright. Cool. We're good. We are good. So let's get the ball rolling. So I'm getting on a little bit later tonight because we had our first episode of season 4 of the Practice Squad, which is the podcast that I co-host with one of my college buddies for our very strong, passionate interest in the NFL that we've had for years. This is the 4th year, starting the 4th year of the podcast itself, but we've been NFL fans and friends for much longer than that. So we had our first episode of the season tonight. If you guys are interested in football, which I understand that some of you, that'll just put some of you guys to sleep, but for those of you that are interested, we do our podcast on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific. They usually run around an hour. The podcast is called The Practice Squad. We do the podcast live, and then the videos are automatically uploaded to my YouTube channel, so you can watch them right after the show, 2 seconds after the show, or a year after the show, whatever floats your boat. So that's one of my other kind of passion projects that I've been doing for a long time, much longer than I've been streaming for. But that's on Tuesday nights. That's going to be running till 9:30, so I probably won't be starting on the earlier end on Tuesdays because I need to close that down, take a little break, do my stream setup because it's a different setup I don't use a capture card. I'm using a different streaming laptop. It's just a totally different setup. So it takes me a few minutes to set that up and get going. So 10:30 is probably going to be 10:15, 10:30. That's probably going to be on average when we'll be starting on Tuesdays. And then we'll be back to our normal, hopefully around 9:30 to midnight on Wednesday and Thursday and Monday. So that's the goal. So tonight we're going to be playing some more Destiny. We're also going to continue our discussion topics. We are on objection number 4. Our top level topic is responses to objections against Christianity, and we're on objection number 4, which has to do with hypocrisy. So I hope you guys will stick around for that discussion. We're probably going to get started in about 30 minutes or so. I like to try to start the discussion around 11 o'clock, and then we usually run for 30, 45 minutes, depending on the topic. I try to keep things succinct, but I also want to leave room for discussion so that people can have their thoughts and input on the discussion content. Okay, so I said I was going to try that EXO challenge again, so we're going to do that. Now that I know what I'm doing, I'm hoping we can just kind of bang it out. So I want to go back to stasis, and I did like Lord of Wolves. I need to have the bow equipped for heavy. Let's go rocket launcher. And then I need the bow mod. The overload mod. Is that... No, it's not chest. Is that arms? I always forget. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, and it only costs 1 energy, too. So... what else can I use to help? Recovery. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Okay. I'm not at the point where I'm trying to min-max stats or anything yet, just because I'm only 1273, so I got some leveling to do before I'll really care about that too much. So we'll preserve the stun until I get overwhelmed. Okay, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Okay, so we cleared out that wave. So we got to run over to the other side as fast as possible. Ooh, I got a nice mod. Sweet. And I should not be afraid to use heavy on just mobs, because the percentage decreases whether there's one enemy on the platform or 50, so having something to clear out a bunch of ads is useful. Like I'm not 62%'s okay. Maybe we can succeed with that. Okay, so we cleared out this wave. Now we got to go back over. And this is the part where I was failing a bunch last time. Was I had not enough time. Just got to heal up. Okay. I need ammo. I'm not getting enough. I need special ammo. Okay. Okay. Okay, I feel like I got really close that time. I feel like we got really close. I think I just needed to clear out that wave and we would have been good. Okay. So these are the first enemies that come on board. So take them out first. See, that feels like a glitch. That feels terrible when that happens. Absolutely terrible. It's like there's no reason that should have whiffed right there. No reason at all. Okay. Got some percentage back. Okay, we got almost full Lord of Wolves ammo. Can't forget to use grenades. What? Okay, knock out the wyverns first. Those guys really tend to do me in very quickly. Okay, we're doing really good percentage-wise. Heal up. Okay, we're gonna rocket and then really 3. I thought 1 was supposed to do it. Okay, we're down to 69. Okay. Who's still up? Oh, they're already on the other side. Okay, yikes, 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 yikes. I got tons of power ammo, so I need to utilize that. we're screwed. I gotta be more vigilant about ammo pickups. Enough ammo. I wasn't using my stuns last time, which would be a good idea to do. Getting some percentage back. Okay, got a bunch of Lord of Wolves. That's good. Dash over to the next part. We're back up to 100%. That's good. That's the best we've done so far. Reload. Rocket launcher. Nice. We're not even losing any percentage yet. We just got to get control of the platform. Let's get the ammo, which we're gonna badly need when we get to the other side. Okay, cleared out that section. Go back. Use the stuns liberally here. The wyverns down. Okay, we're doing really well. So I just can't die. That's the one thing I cannot do right now, is die. Don't have... How are we doing on... Oh, is there a... Oh no, is there another wave on the other side? Shoot. That's not good. Okay. Gotta get over there. I think this is the last wave. I wasn't aggressive enough. Okay, I'm gonna take damage for doing that. I'm in big trouble here. Oh, I got power ammo. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, man. That is a good feeling. Okay. Whew. My heart is racing. Oh, can I not? Oh, goodness. Okay. That's not it. That's not the end. There's a boss. Is it after that? Okay. Gotta get to the other side, clear out the other side. Okay, getting percentage back, which means they haven't taken the platforms. Okay, stun him again. I want to save power for the boss. Now, do they keep spawning, or is it eventually just going to be me and the boss? Because that will affect my strategy here. If I have to just keep defeating waves of enemies indefinitely. I think I need to just take this guy out. Okay. Okay, got him down to 1/3. We're doing good on percentage. Kill the wyvern. I'm gonna need... I need ammo. Oh, okay. I knew that was gonna happen. Oh no! Does that start me completely over? Please say no. Okay, thank goodness. Just to the boss. Okay. So I did get a checkpoint. Phew. That's good at least. Although I don't have any... I have no ammo though. So I might just be ammo farming. Gotta get to the other side. Okay. Gotta build back up my percentage, but I'm burning all my ammo doing it. I gotta get some hits on the boss. Oh, there's special ammo right here, right here. Got it. The good news is that I am rebuilding percentage. The bad news is that I haven't gotten any power ammo, and I've done no damage to the boss. Oh, there we go. That's nice. That's nice. That's exactly what I need. Okay. There we go. Got a good hit on the boss. Okay, gotta go check out the other zone before this gets overwhelmed. Every little bit helps. I just can't die like I did idiotically last time. Okay, we're starting to lose percentage on this side, so go clear it out with keep wanting to say House of Wolves, with Lord of Wolves. See, only the wyverns are aggressive. The main mobs aren't that aggressive. Okay, gotta get to the other side. This is a marathon. I think I was just short of the boss. Good on percentage. I probably should just focus down the boss. Maybe do one more rotation. Well, let's do one more rotation just to play it safe. Okay, we got Lord of Wolves. Okay, we got. Okay, we're getting sunk bad here. Got him. Is that it? Is that it? Please say that's it. Oh. Holy moly, man. That was a good fight. That's a solid mission. And
It's 11 o'clock.
Which means it's time for us to start our discussion soon. Oh. Oh, that's right, today was reset, huh? So I could get the new missions. Let's see, we've been doing strike-based stuff. I guess we can try Gambit. I haven't really played Gambit in a while. Maybe do a second strike one. I had forgotten about this. Howl of the Storm stasis aspect. So what does that give me? Aspects. Oh, I have two I haven't used. Okay, so this one is Cryoclasm. That was the one I already had. After sprinting for a short while, enables a longer and more powerful slide. Sliding into stasis crystals or frozen targets shatters them and any nearby frozen targets. Okay. Tectonic Harvest. Shattering a stasis crystal creates a stasis shard. This shard grants grants melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. I hate my melee ability is the thing. Like, it doesn't hit anything. It is complete garbage. So I need another ability here. And then the one we just got, Howl of the Storm, while sliding, activate your charged melee ability to launch a wave of stasis energy forward that freezes targets and creates a stasis crystal. This creates stasis crystals. I feel like this would be good for PvP, but I guess you can only have one of these at once, right? Because it takes up 2 slots. Or no, wait, what? Fragment slots 2. Oh, it gives you, oh, okay. I think that's what that means, it gives you that many slots. Yeah, I think these two are probably the best that I have right now. Ooh, there's a seasonal auto rifle. I've always really liked auto rifles, even if they're not in the meta. So I've got a bunch of these umbral quests. So this is a strikes, this is gambit, this is strikes. This is the solar damage one we were working on last time. And then we got a crucible one. Oh, you know what though? I did 2 nightfalls last night, but I didn't do the third one, which means I never got the engram for it. But we do have a new nightfall, so it'll be less boring. What's the modifier? Taken Vandals summon their shields significantly more often. Okay, so let's finish off the solar part of the quest. And oh, I think I got a new, do we get, oh yeah, we have a new mod. So I don't really have a reason to unlock anything right now. So I'll leave that as is for now. Just gonna get rid of this. Gonna get rid of this. Get rid of this. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna start our discussion for the night. And our topic tonight is continuing on our series of our responses to objections against Christianity. So we've done 3 objections so far. We're going to work through the 4th tonight, and then we're going to do the 5th one tomorrow night. And if you've been checking out this channel since its inception a few weeks ago, we have actually looped through these topics one time before, so this is kind of our second pass through these objections. So tonight's objection has to do with hypocrisy, and the title is "Why Do Christians Seem Hypocritical at Times?" And for some people that's putting it mildly. For others, I think that's a reasonable way to put it, but so we'll just leave it at that. Some people might want to say, why do Christians seem hypocritical all the time? Or Christianity is just hypocrisy or whatever. But I'm not. That's hyperbolic to me, so we'll just keep it at kind of a level-headed version. So the objection, as I've frequently heard it, is that Christianity as a way of life is unattractive because Christians don't seem to be better people. In fact, often Christians seem to be even more hypocritical than non-Christians. And that comes from the idea that Christians believe one thing, but they don't always follow through on that, and so therefore they're hypocritical, and oftentimes people don't see, from outside of the church, from outside of the body of Christ, people don't necessarily see that transformation or that change in Christians' lives, and therefore it's an unattractive religion because it doesn't lead to anything actually positive in your life, practically speaking. So that's the objection. And I wrote out 5 responses, and they all kind of build on each other, so they're not necessarily 5 unique responses that could each defeat the objection, but they're 5 points that build up to what I think is a sufficient defeater against that objection. So the first response is that all of man is fallen. All of man is fallen. So this is in reference to the sin nature, and if you've been logging into the channel, you know very well now that phrase, sin nature, and it refers to the state of man after entering into rebellion against God. So as a baseline, we have to establish that mankind is sinful, and I think that should be a pretty easy common ground to get to, just because I feel like I'm going to die here and all my teammates ran ahead. Yeah, I gotta be careful. Oh my goodness. Somehow I'm still alive. Sorry, I wasn't expecting this part of the strike to be cause me to actually have to pay attention. So so we're all in a state of rebellion against God, and we tend to veer away from God and towards sin. So just as a baseline for all human beings, that is the state that we are in as a result of original sin, mankind's first choice to rebel against God's created order and go their own path. So that's the first kind of foundational argument that we have to start with in order for any of the other four responses that I have to make sense. So the second response is never promised sinlessness. And the idea behind this is that God never promised that even if we were to accept his free gift of grace, his free gift of salvation through Christ Jesus, we were never promised sinlessness. Nowhere in Scripture did he ever tell us that we would be sinless if we accepted Christ into our life. We don't accept Christ and then all of a sudden stop doing wrong. Not only is that shown through Scripture, which is our ultimate authority, but it's also just shown practically speaking. There are millions of authentic believers around the world who, despite their authentic belief, continue to sin. So we have not only scriptural, God's word evidence of that, but we also have practical evidence that indeed Christians continue to sin. So we know this to be true, so that's not an argument that we can make against God, because God never promised that. So at most, that's an argument you could make against Christianity as a lifestyle, but even then I'm going to try to refute that as well tonight, but it's not an argument that you'd be able to make against God. So our third response is promised transformation, not promised perfection. So it relates to the second response, but it adds to it. So like we just established that God doesn't promise that we stop sinning, he therefore doesn't promise that we're perfect, but he does promise transformation. In this life, God has promised us transformation through his Spirit, but not perfection. Therefore, we can and will continue to sin against him and against other human beings, because the transformation is not made complete until our life is over. Our life on this earth is over. So we are promised eventual transformation to the point of perfection, which is what happens when our bodies are resurrected again and we're made glorious in communion with God, but that's not something that happens on this earth. And so what we are promised is a steady transformation towards a character that is more character and spirit that is more and more like Christ. And as faithful believers, if we live out God's commands, if we are obedient to Him, then we walk on that path, then we will be transformed to be more like His Son, which was always God's end goal. His end desire was for mankind to be reunited to Him through His free gift of salvation, so that no one would have to be separated from Him, because He loves us so much that He does not want to have to separate anybody from Him. It is only by our own choice that we end up separated. So that's our point number 3, is that promised transformation, not promised perfection. So as you can see, we're kind of building towards something here. So in response number 4, the title of response number 4 is True Faith Yields Humility. So now we're going to start getting into kind of the practical aspect of the idea of hypocrisy, and the kind of the cornerstone of Christian living. That although we do, as Christians, we do continue to sin, we are being transformed such that we can recognize the sin and have remorse for it. So God has equipped us not only with a spirit that the spirit who transforms us from the inside out, but He does this by making us aware of our sin, which is how we come to saving faith to begin with, is by His Spirit knocking on our door saying, you are sinful, and you need God in order to you need God to make that right. And he makes it right through the sacrifice of His Son. Now, so we are being transformed such that we can recognize the sin and have remorse. We desire to be more like Christ. We desire to be more like Christ, or desire to be more Christ-like, just as God desires for us to be more Christ-like. So if you were to, just on a practical level, if you were to sit down with a believer, such as myself or anyone else, that would be willing to spend a few minutes talking about this with you, and you ask them, okay, so you sin, you continue to sin, you continue to do what's wrong. How do you rectify that? What do you do about that? Well, number 1 is we confess that sin. We recognize that it's sin, and that's a starting point that, frankly, a lot of people don't do. Is they don't accept the things that they do as sin. They just accept it as personal choice, and as relativism has steeped its way deeper and deeper into American culture and cultures around the world, secular cultures around the world, we're kind of left with this idea that there's not, right and wrong is kind of fuzzy, and it really comes down to personal choice, and what's true for you might not be true for me, etc. But in speaking with a Christian, you'll realize that wow, that was quite the stomp. There we go. That we not only confess our sin, we recognize that we fall short and need God all the more to fill that gap for us, the gap between us and perfection. Only He can get us there. So that leads into my 5th point, which is that the point is not our work, what we do, our own moral striving, but God's work. we take responsibility for our sin because we're in a state of rebellion. Yet we give God the credit for our transformation because he's the only one that can pull us out of the clutches of sin. We're not capable on our own of doing that, and we've established that through a variety of different discussion topics throughout the weeks, that we are not capable of doing that. Only God is capable of doing that for us, through Christ, through his Spirit. So when as soon as we make that paradigm shift, that the point is not about the striving that we do to be quote unquote better people, but rather submitting to the work of Christ in our life, that is when we become more like him. And through that, we will start to not only feel the remorse of sin deeper, but become more perfect throughout our life. And that perfection doesn't earn us merit. We don't become more saved by reaching a state of perfection, because we're already saved and God's working through us to sanctify us. But God continues to work in such a way that we are able to recognize the work that he's doing and lean into it rather than fight against it. And that'll be a lifelong fight, obviously. It's a lifelong struggle to submit to God's work in our lives, because we want to stray away. We want to go down our own path. We want to do our own thing. So, I'll try to tie the pieces together here, which is that we established that man is fallen. We established that we were never promised sinlessness. We established that there is a promised transformation, so we do in fact change, even if it's slow. We established that we can recognize our wrongdoing and allow Christ to work in us more through true faith, which yields humility. And lastly, we established that the point is not our own moral striving, but God's work in our life. So looping back to the objection is kind of, you can sort of break into two parts. One is that Christianity is unattractive because Christians on the whole don't seem to be better people. Well, addressing that directly, based on what we've talked about, the life of a Christian put under a microscope has to be, in order to be fair about that, you have to look at, first of all, the person's life history, right, as a believer, and fairly and honestly assess the believer's transformation according to the work of the Spirit. And I believe that for any genuine believer, for anyone that genuinely has submitted their life to Christ, that believe that Christ died on the cross, that believe that we are in a state of sin, and that God has given us this free gift of salvation, if anybody that truly believes that, you will see evidence of a transformation if you give them a fair chance. Oftentimes what happens is that we see a tiny snapshot of someone's life, either in the news or in an interaction with them, verbal, in person, whatever, that is something that is not Christ-like, not biblical, anti-biblical, and we say that person's hypocritical. But the injustice that causes towards the person is that it doesn't recognize that there's a broader, deeper movement happening in that person's life, and that the blip that you saw is a blip, right? There are other blips. You'll see other blips if you looked at the timeline of their life as a believer. You'll see other blips, of course, because we'll sin from now until the day we die. But you'll also see that change, that transformation. So to be objective about this, which is our goal in these discussion topics, is to be where I'm assuming that this objection is being made genuinely and genuinely seeking an answer and hoping for an answer, right? It's not just being done in bad faith, otherwise we wouldn't be able to have this discussion. You're genuinely seeking an answer for why does it seem that, or why do I feel that Christianity is unattractive? Because I see Christians not being better people, right? Because the Christian worldview holds such a high moral standard, people expect the people that believe it, Christians, to uphold it and therefore to be more perfect than those around us, and we don't see that, and so therefore there's that dissonance, and we think, oh, well, Christians fall short just like everybody else, so why would I believe that, basically? So I think I answered that part. And then the second part is that Christians often seem to be more hypocritical than non-Christians, and that's because of that high moral standard, right? We say, well, the moral standard that they hold themselves to is so high that they fall short more often than someone that's set the bar lower, and therefore they don't act consistently with their worldview, and it either seems like a broken system, right? Like just an unattainable standard. So who would want to follow that, right? It's hard work. Or they seem hypocritical. They're saying they believe something that maybe they don't actually believe. And that may be true. There are people that claim to be Christians that are not. And there are also people that claim to believe something that they don't truly believe in their heart. And every one of us has gone through a phase in life where we say we believe something that we don't. We say we believe a series of things that we don't actually believe, that we're not honest to ourselves about that. So that happens with some people that are claim to be Christians, and I call those people nominal Christians, and Christians in name only, that don't actually follow Christ, that haven't actually let Christ into their life. But we're really, in order to look at this objectively, we have to look at people that are, the real discussion is about people that are actually believers. And I believe that if you were to look at someone objectively that was an actual believer, you would see that transformation in their life. And by seeing that transformation, I do think, I am convinced that you would think that that was an attractive change. Right? Fundamentally, who wouldn't want their life transformed for the better? Who wouldn't want more hope and joy and satisfaction in something eternal? Who wouldn't want that? Right, so I think fundamentally it is attractive, but it only appears unattractive when we take a tiny snapshot from someone's life that blows the sin out of proportion. Now, that doesn't mean we don't take the sin seriously. We do. We have to. And any true believer that sins, it may take time. It doesn't always happen right away that they recognize it, but they will recognize the sin. They'll feel remorse for the sin, and they will confess the sin and seek reconciliation with whoever they sinned against. And you'll see that desire to make it right. Now, you may know someone in your life that's a Christian, and there may be a long, dark, twisted, complicated history with that person, and that may be one of the reasons why you have just said, nope, that's not for me. And I'm not going to pretend to understand the hurt that you've experienced, or to try to say that you can just wipe it all away at the snap of two fingers and just accept it as great. What I'm saying, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging to pull yourself out of that personal pain and to be objective and look at this discussion that we're having, these arguments that we're making, and the reality that's put in front of us. Relationships are complicated, and because Christians sin like anyone else, there are going to be and are many examples of Christians that have sinned in serious ways, whether before they were Christians or after, that result in deep personal pain for someone or some people around them. And yes, it does hurt our witness when we try to communicate the hope and the joy and the truth of the message of Christ to you, but we're also hurting you. That hurts our witness. It hurts our credibility. And that is really painful. It's really painful. And ultimately our only hope is that God allows you to see those things as true. We are broken agents. We are a broken voice that attempts to communicate the hope that's in us. But ultimately, when credibility is lacking and there's hurt there that is just sometimes too much of an obstacle to overcome, or at least seemingly that way, ultimately the hope is that God will communicate that truth to you. So I hope that tonight that I did justice to these ideas, and I think I was fair in laying out the objection, and I think I was fair in discussing the responses, and kind of what we built up to as a response to that objection. And as we continue to work through these objections, we'll find that there's a very solid framework off of a lot of our discussion is going to be built off of. So you'll see some patterns emerge in the types of responses that I give and the type of discussion that we have about certain things, because there's a few core theological concepts that we keep coming back to that really have a lot of explanatory power as we work through some of these objections. So that will conclude our discussion for tonight. I really appreciate you guys sticking around for it. This particular objection can be very personal, and I hope nothing I said tonight made light of that or made you feel like I'm not taking that seriously, because it is, pain and hurt and sin is very serious, and I can promise you as a believer that I take it seriously, and I take the sin of others seriously. So if you have questions or just something that's just a hang up about this for you, feel free to either comment in the Twitch chat or comment on the YouTube video, and I will read your comments and I will respond as soon as I can, because I want you guys to feel like, as we're engaging in this discussion, that it is a discussion, and that there is a sense of sympathy and recognition of the things that are on a personal level, especially very difficult, as we navigate through some of these logical arguments. I don't want the personal aspect of it to be lost. So thanks so much for sticking around for the discussion. We're going to keep playing. I think we're going to try to do at least one more Nightfall, and then maybe we'll end the night with a PvP match or Gambit or something like that. I've been really... One thing I noticed about the PS5 controller is that the aiming in first person is much harder than it was on the PS4 controller, and I haven't been able to figure out if there's a way to fix that. Every game that I've played so far in first person, either through the on the controller on PC or directly in the PS5, it's been harder to aim, and I don't know what it is. I think the weight of the controller has something to do with it. I think the just the kind of the new haptic feedback probably is related as well. But ultimately, there's just probably a million tiny things that changed and it added up to something that just doesn't feel as comfortable. So it's not so bad that I've reverted back to PS4. I'm trying to just get used to it and learn it rather than revert back to the PS4, because eventually the PS4 is going to be essentially obsolete, and I don't want to be relying on old technology to get me through current games. So I'm a little nervous about going into PvP. Don't expect much. As I've said before, I'm not good at shooters in general. So I'm decent at PvE, I think. I would say I'm decent. But when it comes to PvP, I would not call myself good. When I'm in a state of having played Destiny consistently for 3 or 4 weeks and playing a lot of PvP, I think I can get decent at it when I get warmed up. But I definitely am not. I would never call myself good. I just would never call myself that. Especially in comparison to some of the other PvP players I've seen in the Destiny community. So I wonder, have I gotten all my solar kills? I should have checked that before we started. Okay, let's check quests. Which one was it? This one. 80. I need 20 more, and then we'll just, as soon as that's completed, we'll switch off of we'll switch off of solar and go back to stasis. Not cool. Wow, everybody's just invincible. So one thing I don't understand about the power leveling at this point in the game, now that Destiny 2's been a thing for almost 4 years, is why I have to power level 40 levels after the soft cap just to get to the hard cap for that season. Right? Like, as a returning player, that's a huge hurdle to overcome. It's going to take me weeks as a, pseudo casual player to level up all the way to 1310, or maybe it's 1320, so it might even be 50 levels. I don't understand why they don't just make the cap be the soft cap. So maybe make the soft cap be 20 levels below the pinnacle cap. So you level 10 levels for the hard cap and then 10 levels for the pinnacle cap. Because it's just, I want to do endgame stuff. Right? Like I've poured enough hours into Destiny where I don't want to be just leveling, because leveling's not interesting. As I have said many times before, leveling is not content. So I would rather be engaging with the content, which is the raids, the dungeons, the cool stuff that they build for endgame players, which is really cool. Like the main reason for me to play Destiny over the years has been that endgame content. And unfortunately, just because of my life, I haven't been able to really raid or do much of the hard stuff over the years, or over the last few years. But like, I don't know, like, it's weird that they put that barrier to the fun in there. Now I know that they do put they don't make, like, the recommended level for the seasonal activity is not at the hard cap. So you don't have to get all the way there in order to engage with the seasonal stuff. But you really do need to get there in order to engage with the true endgame stuff. So we should not be struggling this much. I want to use the new fusion, but it's void, so I'll probably switch to that after the solar kills are done. Wow. I'm going through this like a normal strike. I need to be paying attention a little bit more. Also, I don't like my loadout, but it's only that way because I'm doing a quest. Okay, so we got the solar kills. Alright, so we're going to switch things up then, because I do not like the weapons I'm using. So we're going to we're going to turn on the fusion rifle. We are going to... Actually, I kind of maybe thinking about shotguns. Magazine 7. Let's try... Okay. Light level wise, I'm still above the recommended, so I should be fine. Is that guy using Polaris Lance? That's what it sounds like. I haven't heard that gun in a long time. Okay, so that's that new fragment that I got, or the new ability, rather. I don't think that actually hit anybody, but I just wanted to see what it does. I don't think I progressed it at all. Yeah, champions defeated. That there's no champions. Combatants slowed, then defeated. Slowed, then defeated. What would be the fastest way to do that? Does frozen count as slowed or not? Oh, there's power ammo over there. Okay. Sure. There we go. What are dark reflections? I don't remember that currency. Dark reflections. Where does that show up under? I don't see that in my inventory. Is that going towards a... Okay, I got one. Got one of them done. Nice. Okay. Um, so it's already 11:50. We don't have enough time to do another nightfall. So I think tomorrow night we'll pick up where we left off and do the last nightfall for the weekly. And then I don't know what we'll do after that. I think I have 2 strike quests active right now, right? I got Dark Reflections collected defeated strike bosses have a chance to drop. Combatants frozen and defeated. Okay, so these two kind of go hand in hand then. This is Gambit. This is PvP. Step 2 of 53. Oh, that must be like the seasonal quest or whatever that involves all the story stuff. Probably. Okay. This is the enter the Shattered Realm via the Helm. That's oh, nice. Let's see. Oh, I kind of like the quick hug one. I have the chair and the table. I don't think I need both those. So probably get rid of the table and put it here. Cool. Let's go to the tower real fast. We'll decrypt stuff real quick and then I think I'm gonna log off after that. Nice.
Checking now. Transfer. Done, done, done. Receive. Thank you. Thank you.
Transaction to make, Guardian?
Okay. Cool. I think that'll be it for tonight, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and off here. Thanks so much for coming out. Appreciate it, every single one of you, for every single minute you guys were able to spend on this channel. Thanks for just, playing through the games and also taking part in our discussion topics. We do a discussion topic every single night that I stream, Monday through Thursday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9:30 to midnight roughly, and then Tuesdays are usually going to be more like 10:30 to midnight because I do the Practice Squad podcast right before that. So we'll be back on tomorrow night with some more Destiny. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you tomorrow night. God bless.